Good evening from InvestSharp.com. This is Randy Smotone with your Thursday, January 20th market update. So we've had a pretty significant, pullback here in the last couple of days, at least in some stocks. But if you look at the overall market, the Dow has hardly moved down at all, and the S&P hasn't been all that bad either. Mostly it's the Nasdaq and Russell. So we had the dollar up today. Gold, silver, copper, and oil were all down. And light sweet crude futures were down $2 to settle at $88.86 a barrel. So looking at the dollar here via the UUP, the ETF. So we did get a little bounce today. More selling through here as far as volume goes than there was buying here on this little bounce. So we'll see where the dollar goes from here. West Texas intermediate crude point and figure chart, the continuous contract. We're still on a buy, still have a 105 bullish price objective. Now, we won't go on a sell signal unless crude comes all the way down here and prints $87 a barrel. So, which we did not get to 87 today. So we need to print this 87, and it has to be exact, can't be close. It has to actually print 87. So that would put us on a sell signal. And of course, then we got some trend line support here. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'll be watching for that. Go take a look. Start off with the Dow again. Since it held up the best, it was basically just flat on the day. It got down to 11,744 and then pulled all the way back up. Make it a little bigger here. Bounced off the 10-day, still holding the 10-day, all the way back up. So quite impressive. Only down 2 points to 11,822. S&P. Same thing, it was pretty, way off its lows, hanging right around the 10-day. We're still in this channel up on the S&P. Hasn't been broken yet. Nasdaq, of course, Nasdaq did take out this trend line here, but it did hold the 20-day, closed above it. It took it out, but then it did close above the 20-day moving average. And then the Russell, which was the weakest for the third day in a row, so might be due for a bounce here on the Russell, because 3 days is quite a few days to be the weakest. And it wasn't really down this day, but it was the weakest. And of course, it's been down a lot yesterday, and then pulled back even further today. So it's probably a little overdone here, and we probably have a little support somewhere around this level, somewhere right around where it closed. Here, touch through here, so possibly a little support here. Let's take a look at the GLD. So gold, pretty heavy selling. We have a weekly, and we may lose it. We've got some weekly trend lines here. If you touch here and here. Of course, it all depends on now if you draw it differently and possibly through here somewhere. Like I said, it depends on how you draw it, right? Then we could be near a level of some support on the weekly. We'll see if that plays out. But definitely heavy selling. And we've had this level of prior support that's not too much further below us either, right around here. Touched, went up. So we'll see if it if it falls any further. We'll see if it ever get caught here. It's actually up a little bit in after hours. And silver. Whoops. Silver was definitely getting beat up. It had kind of the biggest run to the upside. It had more momentum, and of course it's falling faster to the downside. So see where it goes. It's lost the moving averages. It's just kind of out here now. Possibly somewhere maybe 26 maybe will get some support where it's had it before. And I don't know if doesn't really have much support here. I'd say probably more likely about 26. Copper lost the 30-day. Pretty heavy selling here too. 50's not until we get down to 54.83, which might be the next possible level. And then the Euro FXE Euro ETF had this breakout higher, right? We'll see if it holds up here, but pretty flat today, but it's still holding up. And then the volatility index. So pulled, obviously the strength later in the day did pull it back. I mean, it got as high as 1885, and we pulled all the way back here. So, but definitely more volatility, and it's typical we get a little more volatility in earnings season anyway. So let's go take a look at the McClellan oscillator. This is the NYSE McClellan. So we're down at minus 33, so we're still not quite overbought. We need to get to 50 or 60 area. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ, because it's probably, you know, the NASDAQ's been hit harder. So yeah, we're at minus 45 on the NASDAQ McClellan. So we are nearing that oversold territory on the NASDAQ. Take a look at the sectors. So 7 of the 16 sectors we follow finished in the green. The broker-dealer index had the largest percent gain, up 1.14%. The semi-index was the weakest, down 1.04%. You know, broker-dealers was the weakest yesterday, so it's just, you have to watch. This rotation is just like that, you know, especially if you see one that's been the weakest for 2 or 3 days in a row. You're always going to catch a bounce usually in that. So, but this one was the weakest yesterday. So over to chart watch. So you know, the futures are holding up okay. We could turn and go back up. I mean, I still think we need to put in some work to the, you know, downside, but I don't know if that's going to happen or not. The market seems like it. I mean, some stocks have. Some stocks have definitely corrected, especially in tech and in some of the commodities. But we'll see if we put any more work. Note the consumer staples XLP, the ETF, breaking out to a new high here with tons of volume. It's very strong. And the RTH. The RTH was tons of volume here, and on quite a few of the retailers, quite a few of the, you know, the consumer staple stocks were moving higher today. So it had a little breakout here on the RTH. So it's kind of, I said, it was kind of an odd day of some of the stocks getting beat up so much, and then the retail and the consumer staples moving up higher. So look at Kellogg. This was brought up in the trading room today, and by Greg. So the, you know, moving higher here, lots of volume. Looks like Kellogg wants to break to the upside, which, I mean, it did peak out above there today. So it's got the volume to go ahead and push on through and move higher. So keep that one on your radar. Heinz. Let's get a 6 month here. Okay, Heinz breaking out above the downtrend line with volume. Procter & Gamble needs to take out, you know, we've right around here, it's had some resistance, you know, it's in more of a, you know, right, whoops, that's not the right line, more of a rising wedge, right? So it needs to take out today's high with some volume to the upside to go ahead and break on out. Shield, so Sears Holding, you know, it's touched and touched and touched, and lots of volume coming in here. So it looks like it might be about ready to break out the upside. It's got the 200 closed below it. It's right at the 200s here, so closed below it today. But another one to keep on your radar. Some of the retails, Joseph A. Banks breaking out today with volume. BKE, Buckle breaking out above the downtrend line with volume. It's got some moving averages. It did take out the 50 today, right? So it took out the 50. You got a little above it, but lots of volume there. Looks like it wants to go higher. ROST, Ross Stores. So Ross is up against some prior level. It's had some resistance up here. So if it can more volume, possibly take out today's high. It's also got a high over here, 66.42. Take that out. Then some of the financials held up all right. JP Morgan, you know, held that uptrend line. They don't want to let it go yet here, and held the 20. So we'll see where it goes from here, but held up real well. Of course, Morgan Stanley is about to break out over this prior high here, and also lots of volume there. BIIB breaking out above the downtrend line. Hansen is right there, about ready to break out to a new 52-week high. Lots of volume coming in Hansen. Alpha Natural Resources, it did hold the uptrend line, right, and it held the 50, and it got some buying coming in here. So we'll see where it goes from here, but it did definitely some buying coming in and trying to pick it up down here at cheaper prices. Freeport McMoran is also right at the 50, so let's see where it goes from here. But it did get caught by the 50, closed above it, and it may take it out and go more to the downside, but it could also fill the gap above it. The ExxonMobil holding up really well, still holding the 10-day. Don't want to sell that one. Oracle breaking out with volume. Johnson & Johnson needed to take out the downtrend line here, but it has a little volume coming in, so it needs to break higher here over this downtrend line. Walmart breaking out today, big breakout on Walmart. XEC, this one is held the 10-day, still holding up well. CVX also, Chevron holding up well, holding the 10-day. Baxter, I've been talking about this one, still kind of messing around. It needs to, if you draw a trend line like right across, it's like a little flag here, right? It needs to take out that downtrend line, but still holding up really well. Don't seem to want to sell it. Same with Stryker, still holding the 10-day, still hasn't taken out this low here from the gap up. And MELI, Mercado Libre, holding the uptrend line. It's touched it here, got right around it today as well. And it looks like it had a little more buying here, so see where it goes from here as well. Keep on radar. Lennar holding up well, hanging right around the 10-day. Whoops. Dendrion. Dendrion is holding the uptrend line. Looks like it's an ascending pattern here, and there's a lot of buying going on. I don't see much selling, so let's see if it can hold this trend line here and bounce off the trend line, lowerish buy point. SLB trying to hold up as well, holding the 10-day, and BHP breaking the uptrend line with lots of selling today and breaking the 50-day. So it did have a little up, had some support here before. It held it today. We'll see where it goes. We are actually short BHP right now. So Costco looks like it wants to near breakout to the above that downtrend line. So watch for that. Deere holding up real well, holding the 10-day. And Starbucks looks like it's about ready to break out of this consolidation that it's been in. Lots of volume coming in there too. I think it has earnings sometime next week, I believe. All right, so we don't have any economic data out tomorrow, so we don't have to worry about that pushing us around. And of course, it's option expiration, but the last few option expirations they've been kind of boring. So we'll see that most people have addressed their positions before that, hopefully. And take a look at the market signals here. So there's no change here on the market signals, but I will note that let's look at the point on the Russell. Right, the Russell is the only one that the S&P and the Dow and the NASDAQ are not even close to being on sell signals. But the Russell, if it prints right here at 775, takes out the prior column of O's, right, it'll have a triple bottom breakdown and it'll go on a sell signal on the Russell. So right now the bullish price objective is 815 on the Russell, which we've got, didn't get too far away from it up here. So watch for a sell signal on the Russell tomorrow or into next week if we print the 815, or not 815, we print 775. These are $5 boxes. So watch for 775 print on the Russell. That would put the Russell on a sell signal. All right, that is it for today. Thanks for watching.